How's it going, guys? I'm here to show you dudes how you can try to farm the Wendigo if you would like to. It is not as difficult a boss as you would think. It's actually only intimidating because of how it looks, especially the totems. The totems are actually a lot easier to handle than you would think, and I'm going to show you guys over some of this gameplay of my level 20 Death Knight, how you're going to deal with totems, how you're going to deal with the boss, and how you're going to deal with his different attacks. Some of it can be luck, but for the most part, it is fairly easy fight. So our immediate, once we start the game, what you're going to want to try to do is you're going to want to try to run and find a resurrection stone or two. Two is preferable. Uh, if you're really good, obviously you're not going to need a resurrection stone, but you know anything could happen, and even when you're in the best of gear, the boss could possibly one tap you. This is especially true for hard mode. It's a very, very difficult enemy, not so much because it's hard, but because it hits hard. Yeah, one small mistake can absolutely screw you. Uh, so you can see here that was a protection shrine because the hands together on the statue is how you know. The protection shrine and the resurrection shrine look nearly identical. The protection shrine has a bit of a darker yellow color to it, and its hands are put together. Uh, resurrection shrine has its hands out like this, and it's yellow. So this room we're in right now with all these chain boxes, this is straight north of the dead center of the map. So on the far east side of the room, on top of the stone ledge, you have to do a little bit of parkour to get there. There is a guaranteed resurrection shrine. To my knowledge, that is the only one in the game. There's probably another, so correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the one I know of that is always guaranteed to be a resurrection shrine. So you can always grab this stone. So you're gonna have to clear a couple mobs to get up here. That staff will pay though, I think. So you clear that skeleton archer. There's gonna be one more skeleton archer that spawns there. And as long as you take care of those two, you shouldn't be attacked. Obviously, if you're a rogue, you don't have to worry about that. I'm a Death Knight main. I do like playing cryo occasionally though. So you're gonna grab this shrine again. Your preference is normally to grab two, hopefully one you can deal with, but you're gonna want at least one resurrection stone just in case somebody messes up and dies. So I at this point had gone back and grabbed at least two more resurrection stones. So you can wait for these shrines to respawn. Resurrection ones included. That's a little bit different from Dark and Darker. These resurrection shrines do respawn. So you can grab the stones from these multiple times. As you can see, I just got another one. You can't bring them into another raid though. Resurrection stones are raid exclusive. So what we're doing here is we're just clearing our fastest path to the center room, which is going to be where the Wendigo is. It doesn't really matter what spawn you've got. Most areas of the map have a fairly quick and easy route, sorry, to the boss room. So we're just trying to clear as quickly as possible, get all these skeletons down. The easiest way to get in there we found is going through the boat room to the east side. If you spawn on the east, whether that's the northeast or the southeast side, there's a pretty quick way into the boat room, and there's two entrances. If you look here, let me pause. This entrance right here that we're about to jump into, and then there's one over here on the west side. Uh, both areas are very easy to get to from either the southeast or the northeast side of the map. So here's where the actual deal starts. I'm loading up my crossbow off the bat. You're going to want to use a little bit of range in this fight. Ranged is going to matter just because you're going to be able to do extra damage while he's maybe pushed back. The Wendigo has kind of iffy AI sometimes, so it doesn't push you a whole lot, which makes it kind of hard sometimes to try to DPS it with a sword because he might be stuck behind some totems. What you're going to find is, and I'll show you, there are four main totems that you're going to have to worry about. He doesn't spawn very many in normal. It's usually like three or four max. We got him to five at one point because we had so many fire totems out. But I'm positioning myself over on the west side of the room so that I can take out this ice totem. This ice totem, it shoots slowing ice bolts at you, and those slows can stack up twice. The slows are pretty freaking bad, so you got to be careful about getting hit too much for this. So what I'm about to start doing is hitting this with the crossbow and trying to defend myself with this pillar. Right, I was able to jump out of the way of it there. They move pretty quick. So what we are doing right now is, and I'll unmute for this. What I'm doing is taking out, or throwing my crossbow at this to get the attraction of this. As you can see, a second ice one spawned over here. As soon as you aggro a boss, he spawns a third totem. But there's 2 ice totems currently, and this totem is a summoning totem. In the normal modes, it summons a moose. So what we're doing is we're having our fighter go in and aggro the Wendigo so that we can take out totems. I was able to parry that, thank God. Oh, see that there? I can actually probably show you in a better spot. So right now I'm just trying to clear totems. So what you're more mainly going to be trying to get is 2 people that can clear totems while the other person, depending on who it switches aggro to, can pull the boss away. So you guys can mainly work on taking out totems. And once totems are gone, then you can all really try to DPS the boss mainly. Uh, these ice ones are really bad. They do a good amount of damage and slow you pretty good, so you got to be pretty careful about them. They hurt. Now, the Wendigo has 2 main attacks you got to worry about. This is a good example right here. This attack he just shot out is one of his 2 main. It is a bunch of ice bolts. He summons them around him and then he sends them off in one main direction, usually aimed at one person. But they'll try to kind of fly in different directions depending on who's in the way to try to hit them. As long as you get out of basically right in front of the Wendigo, you can avoid that pretty easily. So, or you hide behind a pillar. But as you can see, they kind of send off in different directions, but all mainly in that cone in front of him. So at this point, we've got him right here with no totems right now. So we were just trying to take a bunch of damage on him. So he just spawned another totem, which is what he does when he screams. This is the floor ice totem. This is the 3rd totem you got to worry about. It spreads out ice across the floor that slows you by a good amount. So you're going to want to take that one out pretty quickly just because it's such a pain. The Wendigo right now, I said he's casting. What he's about to do is throw a bunch of white and blue light balls out in front of him. Now, this cast is very slow, as you can see. It does not move quick, so you can kind of jump, run out of the way. But if you get hit by 2 or 3 of these things, you're going to instant die. They hurt really, really bad, which is why if you're right in front of him, you don't want to be standing there when he casts. The main deal with the Wendigo is to get behind him. Get behind him and try to DPS. So as you can see over here on the left, he's taken out this green totem with the moose. I just got another one on me. So that's what it does. It spawns a spectral moose over here. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it is enough to interrupt. See, it just killed Foster. Because that ice, if you're not being quick, that ice can take you out like that. Same as the white and blue light ball. It can be very difficult to keep up with it, so you've got to be careful. And this is also why you bring resurrection stones just in case. You never know what could happen. So at this point, we see that our fighter still has aggro of the Wendigo, so I'm taking out this last totem. So I'm trying to equip one of the resurrection stones at this point because he still has aggro, so I can try to walk around. Now I see that there's a moose totem right here, so I'm just going to try to take it out really quickly because I don't want to deal with it. The moose can interrupt your attack or interrupt your interaction, so you don't want to deal with it. At this point, we're just trying to have the fighter do as much damage as he can to keep him away. All right. I say fire totem perfect here because the fire totem is actually the best totem you want to get. It has a fairly low range. It can do damage to the boss, but as long as you draw him away from it, you don't have to destroy it, and you can just sit there not doing any damage to anything. It's a great pick, and it takes up a totem like just place. So you don't have to worry about him casting another totem for a minute if you don't destroy it. So that's really helpful, especially because I'm trying to res him here. That can be a pain in the ass if you cast it on your buddy's dead body, though. So you kind of got to figure out, maybe you got to crossbow it to destroy it, or throw an incendiary on it, or something to try to break it quick. Or if you've got a spellcaster, you can lightning strike them. Anything to try to get some of those totems down. But the fire totem, for the most part, you can leave alone. Oh, so right here he had just spawned another totem, even though I destroyed that first one. So I was right about to revive him, and this deer interrupted my attack. That's why those can be quite annoying. So at this point, I'm just going to try to guide the moose around the pillar so that he can't get me. He's just going to try to go for direct line of sight, so it gets stuck. So while it's right here, I just immediately start trying to resurrect again. But right there, I saw he was trying to shoot ice at me. That was a good avoid on my part because that could have insta-killed me as well. I pulled the moose back around to trap him again and started the resurrection. Barb took a little bit of damage there, but he's alright. He can parry the boss. Again, as long as one main person is keeping aggro, you can still resurrect right in the middle of the boss fight. It works out. Now he goes and heals. And I'm going to immediately start working on totems again while Barb is still just trying to DPS. Stay behind him while he casts. Barb, that was great move on his part. As soon as I get this totem down, I'm going to start helping them DPS. You use anything else you possibly can. That's another fire totem, so we want to be careful about that. Ooh, forgot for a second that you couldn't hit the moose. Another ice cast. As long as you stay out of direct line of sight, he usually doesn't shoot at you. So as long as you try to parry that ice, you can block it or parry it depending on if you're a sword and board guy or a long sword guy. Doesn't really matter. You just try to kind of jump away from them and like try to make them cast away from you. So again, I'm still just trying to take care of these because they can be really annoying. And then I'm going to come help them DPS. Another fire totem. I missed my grab there. I say full DPS here because he's in a spot where we are not really going to get completely smacked. And we killed him. And that's really all there is to it. For the most part, it is super simple. You're really gonna just want to go for those resurrection stones at the beginning as a just in case. Try to clear out the map as quickly as possible. You know, you don't really want people down there to PvP with you. It can be pretty annoying. So try to have the map to yourself. Go straight to the boss room, and as long as you deal with the boss like this, I mean, you can really fight him in hard mode as well, as long as you've got better gear. Because the thing about hard mode, excuse me, is two main differences. Well, unfortunately, I did not record it when we had gone to hard mode. Uh, so basically, the only main differences in hard mode is he spawns more totems. He starts with more totems on the ground. He moves a little bit faster. His attacks are basically the same, but he can throw them out a little bit quicker. Mostly everything is faster. But the main big difference that's going to surprise you is the deer summoning totems that he has are not deer. They're actually the Caphras, the goat mini bosses that you find in the normal level. They're a little bit rough to fight. They don't do nearly as much damage, but they still do their slow scream. So you have to be really careful about taking out the ice totems and the ice shooting totems, because if they scream you and you get double slowed, I mean, you can get whacked like that. It can happen quick, you know, especially if you don't have an insane amount of PDR. So you got to be quite careful about that. But other than that, super easy boss to fight. It just seems ridiculously intimidating. Well done. Dead. So here as another example, guys. Oh, we got a legendary! We got a legendary ring. Oh my fucking god! I was pretty excited that day. So yeah, if you guys, you know, get lucky with some of these boss kills, you can get some fucking crazy shit, you know, even if it's just in the normals. With that being said, I believe that is the tutorial. I hope you guys get a chance to kill it. I hope my tutorial helped you learn, and I hope you get something badass. You know, good luck, guys.